You are going to love what I'm about to tell you. So this year, the LinkedIn algorithms have completely changed. The way to get buyers is a whole new ballgame. But if you do it right, you can get high ticket clients purchasing from you every single week. Now you have to understand, the LinkedIn algorithm thinks a very specific way, especially with the introduction of AI into the algorithms. It's a whole different ballgame. But if you do it right and you understand how these algorithms work, you can get clients coming to you regularly. So I decided to host a free LinkedIn coaching call open to the public where I taught them exactly how the LinkedIn algorithms work this year, and more importantly, how to leverage these algorithms and use them to build a 6 to 7 figure business. So whether you're running a coaching business, consulting business, agency business, or you sell any type of high ticket service, this coaching call is going to show you exactly what you need to do. Now, the only thing I need you to do is watch it in its entirety. Watch it from the start to the finish, take notes, go and implement it, and I am telling you, you can get way more buyers for your services. So watch it, enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. All right, so as promised, right? This lesson today is going to be about how to beat the LinkedIn algorithms in 2025, right? Essentially consistently hit 20 to 40K months with your coaching business. Now, a lot has changed in 2025. I feel like every 2 weeks we open LinkedIn and there's some big move or algorithm shift, and it's almost kind of confusing to keep up with, right? So I'm going to really deduce this all down for you in a really simple and truthfully tactical way. So all you really need to do, just sit back. You don't need to take too much notes. We'll provide the recordings to everyone at the end, so you'll have access to that. I just really want you to pay attention to me today. So what we're going to go over is a couple things, right? So we're going to go over, first of all, why most people are struggling right now, and you might even fall into that category. So we'll go over that. Number two, we're going to go into what the 2025 algorithm actually looks like right now, like specifically tactically speaking. Proven system, what you should be doing to actually get your buyers, turning them into paying clients, how to get that to a 20 to 30K per month level, and then how to implement this strategy, right? Now, one thing you'll know about me, some of my own clients are in this program, are in this call right now, because they know how much value I give away on these trainings. But really, one thing I want you to know is, this isn't fluff. Right? This is the same system I use. This is the same system I teach my own clients to use, right? So don't feel like I'm holding anything back. This is genuinely break down step by step what I'm teaching and what I want you all to benefit from. Okay. So with that being said, I know some of you don't actually know me that well, because I know it's a pretty decent turnout today. So what I'm going to do is I want to just show you a little bit, tell you a little bit about me, who I am, go through that real quick, and then we'll be able to dive into the rest of the lesson. So give me 1 second here while I pull out my LinkedIn profile. There we go. Okay, there we go. All right. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is, sorry, there we go. What was the technical issue here? Okay, there we go. All right, can you all see my screen right now? Should be my LinkedIn profile. Yes? Okay, good stuff. All right, so for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Sara Masadi. I'm a LinkedIn business coach. So what I do is I help business owners, specifically coaches, consultants, and high-ticket service providers, learn how to use LinkedIn to get their business to a 6-figure to 7-figure level, right? So typically, the average person will come to me doing under 10K per month with their business, and then we'll get them to anywhere between 10 to 50K per month. And then if they even want to get beyond that, we work with them beyond that as well, right? So that's really, really where my expertise come in. Just a quick thing, does it work? What does it look like? Yeah, these are just some of our client results you can see here. So this is Jason Lum, one of my clients, 21-year-old career coach. Literally, he was in university when he enrolled into the program. He wanted to help students go into management consulting roles who didn't go to target universities, who didn't go to the Harvard, Stanford's top schools, still land those top tier jobs. He has a very successful coaching business. He started doing 20K in his second month. Dwayne Barney, real estate coach, he did 20K in a week. Matthew, you can see these all here. Jennifer, she's a career coach. I can't remember what she's doing now. I believe it's multi 6 figures. We've even had clients hit 100K months, right? Deepika here, she's a life coach. She said here, you can see I'm in the middle of a 100K month. Other people. So you can see the list goes on and on, right? We've had a lot of really, really good client results. And what I'm about to teach you today is the same stuff I taught these people. right? The same stuff I worked with them on, right? So if it worked for them, it can work for you too, right? So I just want you to kind of know that, a little bit about me as well. Right. When I haven't always been a LinkedIn business coach. I used to actually run my own marketing agency, right? Where I would actually just go out, do this for people, right? So when I started, I graduated university in 2016, then went and did my master's in 2017. And then after that, I actually started running a LinkedIn marketing agency where I would go and actually help financial planners were my niche back then. And I would manage their LinkedIn accounts, go out, get them clients, help them sign them on, do that. And I did that for a few years. It was fantastic. Really enjoyed it. But then when the pandemic hit in 2020, I switched over to coaching. I just felt I could expand my reach far beyond just financial planners, and have switched over to there. So that's a little bit about me. As you can see, I'll show you this quick photo here. This is a photo of, me. And if you guys know anything about like online marketing world, this guy right here beside me is Russell Brunson. He's like the godfather of online marketing. Maybe you've read his books, Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets. He has all of these books out. So this was me a couple of weeks ago, just receiving the 2 Comma Club Award for generating over $1 million cash in sales. So it was really cool meeting him, speaking of these people, like just titans of the industry, all this kind of stuff. And like I said, the reason I'm just showing you this is so that, you're learning from someone who actually knows what they're talking about. I've gotten obviously results for myself, and I've gotten a lot of results for my clients. So now that we've crossed that all out of the way, let's officially dive in. So I'm going to mute everyone here just so it's just me talking. But again, feel free to pop your stuff in the chat. Okay. First thing we got to knock off the list here. Why do most people struggle to actually get clients from LinkedIn? So let me zoom in so some of you might be watching on your mobile devices, right? So there's really 3 reasons that people don't get clients from LinkedIn. Number 1, people don't do enough activity on LinkedIn. That's very simple. They're just not getting enough and they're not doing enough. Number 2, they're not doing the right activities, right? Or number 3, they do the right activities, but it just lands on deaf ears. And I feel like a lot of people might be falling into this category where they're like, oh, I'm posting the content, I have lead magnets, funnels, I'm doing all this stuff, but it seems like no one's responding to me or nobody's interested in me. And it's really frustrating, confusing. So whether you fall into category 1, 2, or 3 here, we're going to go into this, right? But I just want you to understand, like, this is why. Now, the good news is that regardless of what category you fall into, whether you're not doing enough, you're doing the right, or you're not doing the right activities, or you're doing the right activities, you're not getting results, all of these are solvable, right? All of these problems here are very, very solvable. Really, it just boils down to fixing them, identifying where you're at, and then going from there. Now, I want you to understand this, that every 6 to 7 figure coaching business has 4 elements, right? So I'm telling you, whether you're doing 10K a month or you're doing 100K a month, it's only going to be 4 things that you have working that will actually get you to this level, right? So just really, if there's one thing I want you to just really dial in with what I'm talking about today, it is this. Every 6 to 7 figure coaching business has, number 1, a validated offer, which means that you're actually selling something that people want, right? This is something you have to validate, right? I could give you the best marketing strategy in the world, but if people don't care about your offer, then they don't want to buy, right? They won't buy. Now, what offers work? And very simple. I'm actually going to deduce this to you in a very simple way. There's 3 offers that people invest top dollar in. Offers in how to increase their income, how to improve their health, and how to improve relationships. Now, your offer can fall into these categories, right? So for example, a career coach, if you're helping someone get a job, well, you're helping them improve their income most likely, and you're helping them improve their relationships, potentially even their health, right? These are things. So you want to figure out what category you're falling into when it comes to this, right? This is very important and you need to know how to market it correctly. So this is number 1. Number 2 is you need to have an audience of qualified buyers. What does that mean, right? You don't need to have a massive audience, right? This is one of the things that most people mix up, right? I have a client, I'll show you her in a minute. She's a book writing coach. She had about 900 followers on LinkedIn. 900, less than. I think when I started working, it was like 500. Then she got to 900. 900 followers on LinkedIn, doing consistent 10K months. Consistent. And she was a book writing coach, helping people write their books, their manuscript for their book. How does someone do that with less than 1,000 followers? It's because she has the right audience looking at her, right? So this is something I'm going to emphasize a lot as we go into this today, is that you don't need a wide audience. In fact, I've had calls with people recently who have 50, 60,000 followers on LinkedIn, and they tell me they haven't gotten a client in 6 months. I've even had people say I've never gotten a client on LinkedIn. Yet my clients with 900 followers are making 10K months. How is that? Like, I want you to like comprehend this. The reason is because it's not about the width of your audience, it's about the depth, right? How well they know you, how connected they are to your message. These are the things that matter, which then bleeds into point number 3. You need to have content that builds trust in you as the authority. Now, what does this mean, right? When I say content, because content is what most people get wrong on LinkedIn, is that when you create content on LinkedIn, right? One of the most important things you need to understand is that everybody who looks at your content, or let's say 95% of people who see your content on LinkedIn, they're either seeing it for the first or second time, right? When you see those views, let's say you got 800 impressions on a post, the majority of those impressions are seeing you for the first time, right? So what does that actually mean? Maybe they see you for the second time, right? What does that mean? It means that they don't know about you, they don't know you, they don't trust you, and they're probably skeptical too, right? So what kind of content would you create for them, right? The kind of content you create for them is going to be very different than the kind of content you'd be creating right now, for example. Because right now, everyone on this call, or the majority of the people on this call, you guys know about me, right? You wouldn't have attended this call if there wasn't some base level of trust established, right? So you have to understand your time and place. And I always tell my clients, like, one of the worst things you could do with your content on LinkedIn is educate. Why educate your audience when they don't even trust you? Like, I give this analogy frequently, and I say, look, imagine somebody came to you on the street today and said, go invest in these 3 stocks. These 3 stocks are going to triple tomorrow. Put all your money in them, and I'm telling you, they're going to triple tomorrow no matter what, right? Let's say, obviously, what are you going to do? You're not going to take this person's advice. You don't even know this person, right? But let's say, for example, you wake up in the morning and you find out that person is right. You wouldn't even feel guilty because you would say, look, I didn't know this person. Why would I take this person's advice? It's the same thing on LinkedIn, right? When you give unsolicited advice, people don't connect with that, right? But what people do connect with on LinkedIn is who you are, right? Now, let's say a couple weeks or months have been established of getting to know you, then I give you some advice. Well, now all of a sudden you're more receptive to it. So you just gotta have to understand like the human nature side of it, right? This is really, really, really important to know about. Now, last part here is the conversion system. Because if you get all 3 of these parts dialed in, which a lot of people sometimes have, right? Oh, I have a great offer, I have a good audience, I have amazing content. But if you don't have the 4th part dialed in, you know what happens? You end up becoming a LinkedIn influencer. And that's not what I'm here to help you with today. I'm not here to help you become an influencer. I'm here to help you become a business owner that generates a high amount of cash flow for your business. So you absolutely need to have a conversion system in this to turn those interested viewers into paying clients, right? Success is not 200 likes on a post. Success can be 3 likes on a post, 1 person books a call, purchases your $5,000 program, cash collected, now you're working with them and you're repeating that. That is success, right? At least that's my definition of success, and that's what I'm teaching you today, right? Maybe there's another coaching call that would teach you how to get likes and comments, but this is what we're going over today. So far, so clear on the 4 things. I just want to be, before I go any further, like if that all makes sense, just maybe put a thumbs up in the chat or something like that. Just say yes. Anything? Yeah, okay, I see Joe. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Okay, carry on here. Okay, so now let's go into the actual algorithms. So this is very, very, very important to know about. Look, when it comes to the LinkedIn algorithms, right? One of the most important things that you need to understand is that the algorithms have changed in the year 2025. And what I mean by that is that before the algorithms, pre-2025, even pre-2024, the algorithms were simply based on a bunch of systems and like decisions man-made by people, right? So there was literally coders who sat in a room and built all these algorithms saying, okay, if a person does this, then do this. If a person does this, then do this, right? Now, obviously, that worked for a while. It was great. But here's the thing. That changed very quickly over the years, right? In fact, right now, the algorithms are no longer based on basic, systems. Now AI has taken over. So AI has the ability to critically think, right? So this is why before you could easily manipulate the algorithms. It was very easy to manipulate the algorithms before, right? What you could do at that time was like, let's say you wanted to get a lot of views on a piece of content. You could join an engagement pod, share your content in that engagement pod, and you'd have like quadruple the amount of views. You'd get like 5,000, 6,000 views on a post, right? And it worked because essentially you were beating the algorithms at that point. However, now the algorithms are more sophisticated, right? Literally, there's AI, like artificial intelligence, which is at a very high level speaking, it understands it. It understands where and how to place content at a much better level, right? So we have to play it a little differently than we did before. The way we played it before will not work now, right? So this is, again, very, very important to make sure of. So the algorithms right now have divided themselves into to help you achieve one of two goals. They will either help you get a lot of viewers or they will help you get buyers, but it will not help you achieve both, right? You have to make the decision, right? What are you trying to achieve, viewers or buyers? I can't stress this enough, right? And again, I am here to teach you how to get buyers. So as I was saying before here, the algorithms before very much operated on systems and patterns, which could be easily be manipulated. Now it's focused on AI. So the first thing it starts with here is your LinkedIn profile, right? What the algorithms look for is key authority signals, right? The first words in your headline. What is your about section, right? Your featured section. These are things the AI is actually scanning for, right? They actually scan these things, take this into an account, and then they'll understand who to distribute your content to or who your profile should be more visible to. This is why you have to really have strong authority signals when you are publishing content, when you are creating your LinkedIn profile. So I'll show you an example right here. So if you look at my profile, what is the first words right here, right? The very first words is LinkedIn consultant. This was intentional, right? Why did I put that? LinkedIn consultant. I want people who are looking for LinkedIn consultants to find me, right? That's the thing. So the first words on your headline, believe me, the AI is scanning for this. That will tell them who you're looking for, who they should be looking for. Very important, right? Next part here, your about section, right? Your about section right here, right? Very important. Again, talking about what I do, why I do it. The AI is scanning all this. It is literally scanning this information and making a deduction as to who you are, what you stand for, who they should be showing your content to. And then finally, your featured section. In my case, the featured section is just testimonials. But again, if you don't have a lot of testimonials, I'll go into a couple other things you can do. But keep this in mind, right? People are going to be looking at your profile. Sorry, the AI is going to be looking at your profile and making deductions as to who you are, who they should be distributing your content and your profile to. Very, very important. And if you want to know if it's working or not working, easiest thing to do, go and look at who's viewing your LinkedIn profile. You can go see who's viewing your LinkedIn profile. If your ideal buyers are not looking at your LinkedIn profile, well, that is a clear indication that something is incorrect. Now, that doesn't mean 100% have to be looking, but even if like 50, 60% of the people looking at your profile are in the realm of your ideal buyers, you're obviously doing something right, right? So something very, very, very important to just keep in mind with everything we're doing. Okay, so far so clear. Yes? Maybe give me a thumbs up, pop in the chat. Yes, I see some heads nodding. Okay, all good, all good. Okay, let's carry on. All right. Yes, totally. Fantastic. Okay, let's keep going. Now we will go into the content side of things, right? So from a content perspective, right? I want you to understand how when you publish a piece of content, how does it work from the back end, right? How does it work from the back end where to get in front of your buyers, right? Now, the very first phase that happens when you publish content on LinkedIn, here, I'm going to zoom in so you all could see here. Let me highlight it too. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right. Let's go here. Okay. So when it comes to your LinkedIn, when it comes to your content, when you publish content on LinkedIn, right? The AI goes through 3 phases, right? First is the content classification phase, right? This is an automatic thing. The moment you press publish, it scans it and it tries to determine, is this post educational? Is this post promotional? Is this post a story? Or is this post spam? And a lot of posts can be considered spam, right? If you're overloading it with links, if you're trying to take people off the platform, if you're trying to send people to, I don't know, your website, LinkedIn will just classify that as spam. It may not actually, you may not try to make it spam, but LinkedIn will look at it and say, well, you're trying to take people off the platform. So if you really think about it logically, you'll understand very quickly what kind of content LinkedIn likes versus doesn't like. Because let's say you put a link to your website on a LinkedIn post. What are you essentially doing? You are taking people off LinkedIn and bringing them to your website. Why would LinkedIn want to favor that? There's really no reason for LinkedIn to want to favor that kind of content, right? The reason being is because you're losing them money. LinkedIn makes money based on user retention, right? LinkedIn is a publicly traded company, right? So their value, one of the biggest values of their stock price is based on how long each user is spending on the platform, right? So if you're helping LinkedIn fulfill its goal of keeping people on the platform, LinkedIn will reward you, right? By showing more of your content to your ideal buyers. However, if you are creating content that is taking people off the platform, LinkedIn will not reward you. They'll punish you. They'll say, well, you're hurting our stock price here. Let's not promote this post, right? And that can even bleed into future posts as well, right? I don't know if sometimes you've noticed where maybe you take a week off posting and then you come back and you're like, oh my God, my numbers are not the same. And then you have to climb up this whole wall again to get back to the same momentum you were. Yeah, that's intentional too, right? It's very intentional. Now, continuing on here. When it comes to this kind of content, right? Classifying whether it's educational, personal, promotional, or spam, this is where you have to be very smart, right? Because this is where most people will optimize for viewers versus buyers, right? A lot of people, I don't know if you've seen this strategy before. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn who will find like, a viral post on Instagram, I don't know, some cute video of like, I don't know, a kid running around or something like that, just something that's gotten a lot of views on Instagram. And then they'll bring it to LinkedIn and then they'll see, oh, wow, I posted this on LinkedIn and this post got 100,000 views. What value is that 100,000 views to you? Right? Scattered all around different niches, different people, different industries, it actually hurts your business way more than it helps your business, right? When you when you publish that kind of content, because now you've completely confused the algorithms. They're like, okay, well, it seems like this person here is trying to create content that is all, that is made for everyone. So if that's all they care about, we'll show your content to everyone, right? So very, very, very important to understand this. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Because this is really one of the most important things to pay attention to. Like you can create a post and get 200,000 views, but if it's scattered to everyone, what benefit is it to you as a business owner? Right? In fact, you've hurt your profile, you've hurt your content, you've hurt everything because now the algorithms are confused. They're like, well, it's for everyone, right? So this is why it's very important to be intentional about who you are creating your content for. Now, after that initial phase where it scans your content, you go into the next place. It's called the test group, right? So the first thing the AI will do is that will determine whether the post is legit or not. And when I say determine if the post is legit or not, I mean that it will start to show it to your first degree connections. Your first degree connections are the people you're already connected with, right? Your first kind of 10, 20, 30 people who you're connected with. And if they start to engage with it, well, then it will show it to more people of a like manner, right? So this is, again, important to know. This is why you should keep an eye on your network. Who are you connected with? If you're connected with random people from all over the world who have nothing to do with your audience of who your ideal buyers are, your niches, well, then LinkedIn's going to initially show your content to them and then it hurts. This is why sometimes you might see people on LinkedIn with 20, 30, 40,000 followers and then their posts get like zero engagement, like practically like one like. Why? Because it's so scattered. So this is something to keep in mind about. Like if you maybe have worked multiple jobs, you have a very mixed network that's different than who your audience is now, spend a day cleaning it up a little bit, right? It can benefit you a lot to just clean it up a little bit. So something really, really important to pay attention to. Now, continuing on here, when you post this content, like I said, the AI will determine, and then it will continue to expand its reach, right? You'll start to get more and more people actually looking at you. And then once you pass that, then it's distribution beyond network, right? That's where it starts to go to second degree, third degree, people you didn't know kind of connections. Then that's where you actually really start expanding your posts and going from there, right? So understand this when you're creating this kind of content on LinkedIn, right? The moment you post publish, you need to ask yourself, okay, is this post from a high level, is this post designed for my ideal buyers? Yes. Will my initial connections feel a reason to engage with this post? Yes. Okay. Is this post entertaining? Yes. Okay. I will now publish this post. Bang. You publish this post, and now way more people are starting to look at you. Right now, you're starting to get in front of more faces. You're starting to get more, and more importantly, you're starting to get in front of your buyers. Right. So really pay attention to this as you create your own content, because again, running pods and all this stuff, like doesn't help like it used to. Like I'm not going to say it doesn't help at all, but it just doesn't like it's not going to solve your problems like it used to. Right. So again, something very, very important to just keep in mind. Does that make sense so far? What I'm saying to everyone? Just want to be clear. All good. Just checking the heads nodding here. Yeah, okay. I can see everyone responding. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Marus. Okay. So now let's actually, and Carolyn, appreciate that. Okay. So let's go into the actual how you do this. So now, what have we covered so far? So far, what we have covered is number one, why most people don't actually get buyers from LinkedIn. That's the first part. Second part that we've covered is how the algorithms actually work in 2025, right? So, and again, the algorithms are very like complex things. So I'm really simplifying it for you here in a really easy to digest way intentionally. And as long as you know it at this level, you don't need to know it any deeper, right? There's no real need to it. Just keep an eye out, just understand it's AI, it's picking up on things. It's playing a different game than it used to be playing, right? That's all you need to really know. So now we go into like, okay, now I got it all. How do we do this, right? Like, all right, Sar, great stuff. How can I practically implement this now into my business? So let's go into it, right? First thing, beyond anything else, you have to run the numbers, right? Most important thing, I don't like whoever I talk to, the first thing I always say, run the numbers. So let's say the price point of your services is $5,000, right? I'm assuming all of you sell high ticket services here in the range of, $3,000 and above. So I kind of picked like an even middle ground, right? About like 5K for your services, right? So play with it as you will, right? So going forward, let's say your goal is 20K. So therefore, in a month, you're going to need to close 5 clients, 5, 10, 15, 20, right? You're going to need to close 4 clients. 4 clients. Now, that's pretty simple when you think about it now, right? I got to close 4 clients in a single month. Here's the thing. Now, obviously, as you know, your income is directly correlated to the number of sales calls you schedule. The number of sales calls you schedule actually depends on the actual conversion rate, right? So if you want to close more calls, you actually need to be closing at a decent level. So an average and I'm speaking towards the clients and the people that I work with, a close rate is 25%, right? 25% means 1 out of every 4 calls turns into a paying client. And on a monthly basis, if you wanted to get 4 clients, you would need to schedule 16 calls a month, which means you would need to schedule 4 calls per week, which means that if you schedule 4 calls per week, you would make about $5,000 a week, which would mean you would make $20,000 a month. Whoops, we forgot the extra 0 here. There you go. Oops, there we go. $20,000 a month. Now, is it linear? No, it's not linear. Some months, some weeks you might go 0 for 4. The next week you might go 2 for 4. Some weeks you might go 0 for 4, 0 for 4 again, and then go 4 for 4, right? It just, the numbers work out in like the long term, like, you know what I mean? But they don't worry about it day to day. That's just kind of don't expect it to just be like an A/B process, but just so you have a grip of what it should look like, you'll be in a good place with it. Okay. But I want you to always remember this formula, right? Always look at your business. Like I have group coaching calls with my clients, right? And one thing we do, and I do this at the end of every month and the start of every month. So I did this on Tuesday. I had a group call with my clients and I said, okay, I want everyone in the call right now to put down your price point, put down your expected goal for the month of April, and break down the numbers of what needs to be done. And this is we went through this exercise because if you don't have this as your North Star, then you start to do like erratic activities. Right. And when you start to do erratic activities, you know what I mean? Like you get stressed. You're like, oh, I'm posting content. I'm doing this. And then it hurts because you don't even know where you're going. So it's really important that you set a goal. And, maybe you hit it and you hit 20K, great. Or you hit 15K. Well, at least you know what to go to next time. The most important formula you need to understand for your business is what it takes to get 1 client. Right. And this is where it all starts. What it takes to 1 client. How many posts does it take? How many lead magnets? How many offers? How many calls, right? These are the things you need to know, because if you fundamentally know what it takes to get 1 client, well, then you just multiply them and you do more of it, or you try and improve your conversion rate. That's it. It's either do more, do better, or do different. Those are the only 3 things you need to do. So just understand this. So now, what do you need to do to actually get your clients now? Like, what are those activities, right? What are those activities? Now, key elements that you need to have set up in order to run this whole system is number 1, you need to have an updated LinkedIn profile. right? That is number one most important thing. You need to have an updated LinkedIn profile. Same way I was showing you earlier in this call, right? You need to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is set up in a way so that the AI, when the AI scans your profile, they know who you are, they know who you're targeting, they understand these things, right? So it may not be as cut and dry as it used to be, right? But the AI is scanning what's going on. So just be very clear on that. Number two, you need to have consistent content published. If you want an honest number, if you're trying to run a six-figure business, you need to show up every day. One of the greatest marketers in the world, his name is Dan Kennedy, and he always said, "Look, your buyers need to see you every day by noon. Every day by noon." He said, "It's just the same way you brush your teeth is the same way you got to advertise by noon every day, right? It's just a key factor. You got to show up, right? You don't show up, someone else will take your lunch, right? Just remember that. Third thing is lead magnets, right? Lead magnets, very important. I'm going to explain to you in a second what a lead magnet is. And then the last part is a dialed in conversion system, right? So these are the, let's call these assets that you have, right? Your LinkedIn profile, the content you publish, the lead magnets you have, and the conversion system. That's all built in. You have these four things set up. And I'm telling you, you'll make 10 grand a month. You'll make 20 grand. Like that's it. There's no way you won't. There's no way you won't. The only reason you would struggle to is either, like I said, your offer's not good, your content's not good, your audience isn't clear, or your conversion system doesn't work. That's the only reason you wouldn't, right? And those are all fixable issues. So now that we know these are the assets, right? What does it look like, right? What does it look like in real time? So I'm going to show you an example, but before I go into that, just so in case anyone's wondering what a lead magnet is, how it works, lead magnet, very simply put, is a more in-depth piece of content that you give to your audience to get them to build more trust in you. So remember this, and this is, I'm going to jump off my screen for a second and show you this, explain this to you. So look, this is really, really important to emphasize. Your buyers have to go through three phases before they purchase from you. Phase one, they need to be sold on you as a person. Phase two, they need to be sold on your method. Phase three, they need to be sold on your services, right? So you have to understand, no one's going to listen to your way of thinking unless they trust you first, right? It just doesn't happen. So first, your LinkedIn content, get them sold on you. Who are you? What do you like to do? What are your, like, talk about your story, your background. There's three posts that really work well on LinkedIn. It's your story, your experiences, and your opinion, right? Those are the three things that get people connected with you. Then you get them sold on your method, just like I'm doing right now, right? If you go compare my LinkedIn content to this webinar, completely different things, right? My LinkedIn content, talking about when I was in Madrid last week, how I was scuba diving with sharks, what I've been up to. I don't really talk about LinkedIn strategy on my content anymore. If so, it's more like blended into a story, right? That's because why? I want people to actually trust the figure I am, right? I want people to see how I'm living. I want people to understand like how I think, like, all of these things. Then I get them to the method. Right now, I'm here to actually get you to consume more of my content, get you to consume it in more depth. Remember this. Your buyers need to consume 1 hour of your content monthly before they can purchase from you, right? So every month you need to ensure that they're consuming an hour's worth of your content. Now, understand, if you're posting a LinkedIn post, just think about this, just a LinkedIn post by itself, a LinkedIn post by itself is like what, a 1 minute read at max, maybe two. Let's even give you the benefit of the doubt and say two. That's 30 LinkedIn posts you need to get before you can convince someone to buy from you, assuming they see it, assuming they read it all, engage with it. It's a tough ask, right? It's actually a very tough ask to get someone to do that. But look at what we're doing right now. I right now have 52 people in a room, 51 with me, right? 51 people in a room with me right now who are sitting here for the hour, right? What do you think is easier? I'm not saying you need to run webinars, right? You could do ebooks, you could do training videos, right? There's a lot of things you could do, but you need to get your audience consuming more in-depth content from you. So those are the steps. First, they actually engage with you. Then they get into the more in-depth content. Then they go to the services. You can look at me as living proof. I'm literally doing it in real time right now with all of you. All of you are in the middle phase right now, believing in my methods, listening to me, right? Consuming like the more in-depth content. So I want you to think about this for a minute about how you can apply this for yourself, right? What can you actually educate people on? What should your content be on? Does this make sense? Because this is something I never want you to forget. Because if you implement this, like it will always give you a good frame of reference. All right, I see Gareth giving me the thumbs up here. I appreciate that. Okay, awesome. Good stuff. Okay, let's get back to the screen here. Okay. So I'm going to show you this in real time. Now, it just all becomes a loop, right? All of this becomes a loop. I want you to understand this. Your whole business should be a virtuous cycle, right? Your content attracts the audience. Your audience gets the profile views. Your profile can push the lead magnet. Your lead magnet leads to the book call. The book call leads to the paying client, right? Whoop. Now it's like that. And you just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, right? Now, does it always have to lead back to your LinkedIn profile? No, there's other ways you can do it. But I'm just going to show you an example right here so that you get the idea. So give me a second here while I pull this out. And I'll give you a perfect example of just how I even got people to this webinar. So you can just see like how everything played out in real time. So, okay, so take a look at this post here. So this is a post I made a couple days ago, right? Just a couple days ago. First of all, I want you to see pretty low views, right? Nothing crazy here. 474, right? And I intentionally want to show you this. Look at this right here. True story. Last week I spoke with a career coach who was eager to hit her first 20K month. For context, she's been using LinkedIn for the last 2 years. Her average monthly income is $2,000 per month from LinkedIn. She's overworked, putting in 40 to 50 hours per week. When I asked her what she was doing, she said, I post content twice per week on LinkedIn, but it's top level content. I took a look at her post and instantly saw her problem. She wasn't following the rules of the LinkedIn algorithms in 2025. The truth is, posting without a system in 2025 equals staying stuck. But if you do it right, you can attract more buyers without chasing. For that reason, I'm giving away my whole LinkedIn client acquisition system on a free LinkedIn coaching call this Thursday, March 27, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Here's what you'll learn. What type of content the LinkedIn algorithm is boosting right now, how to create content that gets buyers to message you, the exact strategy I give my clients to hit 20 to 30K months. I'm like, you don't want to miss this. To join this call, just like this post. I will send over the details. I only got 474 views. That's pretty small considering a lot of factors. Yet, minus myself, 27 people like this. I was able to invite 27 people. Let's break down numbers down. Let's say half of them were friends, family, right? Or just like, people in my circle kind of supporting. That's still like 14, 15 people I got coming to this webinar from a single LinkedIn post. 14, 15 people. Now, you want to break the numbers down even further? I get 14, 15 people from this single LinkedIn post. They come to this webinar. Of the 14, 15, let's say 2 or 3 book a call with me at the end. Then one person buys. I just got a client from a single LinkedIn post, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is how you have to look at it in the cycle form, right? You have to look at it, and I'm intentionally showing you that you don't need large numbers, right? And why is this working so well for me? Is because I focused on getting the right people to look at me. Online coaches, online consultants, online service providers, people who sell high ticket services. These are the people I'm getting to look at me every single day, day in and day out. I'm creating content for them, right? Same thing. If you look at all my content on LinkedIn, it's the same idea, right? I'll show you another example. Look at this one. This one got a little bit more views, but same idea. Talked about how LinkedIn killed Reels, right? Reels are no longer the most popular thing. Go on the same thing, talk about how I'm running this coaching call. I said, to attend, just like this post and I'll DM you the access details. 49, almost 50 people like this. Do you see how I'm getting all these people coming to this call from just LinkedIn posts, right? And again, cut it in half. Other half is friends and family, random people, supporting. 25 people, 25 people. Right? 25 plus 14, what are we at? 35, 40 people. 40 people, or 39 if you want to be exact. 39 people coming to me, actually enrolling in or coming to this call right now because I'm creating the right content to speak to them. Right? Nothing fancy, no kind of I'm not running ads. I'm not using any high pressure sales tactics. None of that. It's just me giving legitimate value to people. And if you want proof it works, you can look at the attendance in this call. We have 53 people in this call right now. Right? Same idea. And you can do this. Now, again, I'm not saying you need to run a webinar. You could give away an ebook. You can give a free training. You could do like anything you want that gives people more value, right? I would even advise you not to do webinars right away for starting from zero because there's more variables involved. But if you just give away a recording or something like that, usually those work much better and they're much easier, right? Like you still get like 70% of the squeeze than you would from a webinar. So just an FYI, if you want me to be really specific with all this. Okay, so let's keep going here. Okay. All right. Now, does this make sense? I just want before I continue with all of this, right? Is like any questions? Is it all clear? I'll answer the questions at the end, but you can pop them in the chat. Yep, all good. All right. All right. Joe, I see your question. Don't worry. Uh I see all your questions there. I'll definitely answer all of them coming to the end here. So don't worry. We'll be all good to go. All right. That's great stuff. Yeah, yeah. No, happy to help you all. Okay. So I want you now to really think about, yourself, right? Like and I want you all to understand like that what I'm showing you is not just what works for me. It's not just what works for my clients, right? All of them are implementing this strategy in their own way, shape, or form. And it's working really well. But I want you to think about like, if it can work for them, why can't it work for you? Right? This is something I genuinely want you to understand. Like, here's one of my clients, Amy Hendrickson. So I'll show you her real quickly here. She has more than 1,000 followers now because we've been working for a while, but she was doing 10K per month by herself. No team, no VAs, no nothing, just her working. And she was just, look, you can see here. She's a book writing coach, speaker. Now she has like 1,700, but when we started working together, 900 followers doing 10K per month, right? Why? Because she was following this. She had the right people looking, and her posts were not even getting a lot of views. They were getting like, sometimes 10 likes, 5 likes, 7 likes, 8 likes. You know what I mean? Nothing crazy. Yet those ideal buyers were looking at her, getting on the phone with her, purchasing her services. And she sells high ticket, right? She sells, I can't remember the exact price. I believe it was like 5K or something like that. You can see here, I did an interview with her. She made 10 grand from what she was doing. Like, all of this is possible, right? Small audiences. I honestly think you have an advantage if you have a small audience because you don't have to sift through, the algorithm doesn't need to sift through so many people figuring out who your audience is. It just will figure out and be like, oh, well, like you have 2,000 followers. I fundamentally know who you're targeting. Pretty easy for us to help you, assuming you're creating the right content with all of this, right? So very, 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 important stuff to keep in mind with everything that you're doing. Okay. So with that being said, right, like I said, I want you to think about like what is possible for you with this. Like right now, we have just finished. Well, we're coming to the end of Q1 with this with business and all of this right now, right? Meaning that you have a fresh start come April 1st, a literal fresh start. So if Q1 didn't work out for you, you didn't get the clients you wanted, you didn't build the business you wanted, literally April, the next 90 days could be the 90 days that turn your business around forever. But you need to do it right. I can't stress this enough. You absolutely need to do it right because at this point, you've seen it. Like you've seen it. You've seen how the algorithm works. You've seen what's possible. You've seen if you build the right system around it, what can happen. You've seen it with me. You've seen it with my clients. Now it's just about applying it for yourself. But you have to really think about it and be like, okay, what can I do to make this actually work for myself? So I'm going to go into questions now. But before I do, I'm going to say this. Look, you watch this video to the end, so I'm going to do a couple things for you, right? Because I'm looking at who's still here to the end. Still, almost everyone stuck around to the end, which is great. So here's what I'm going to do with you. First things first is for everybody that stuck around to the end today, I'm going to give you access to something really special. So come look at my screen right now. Take a look at this. Let me know if you can see my screen right now. This is my online course. This is part of my actual coaching program. This literal thing right here. There's no exaggeration here. There is a lesson here I have called Mastering the Funnel of Content. It adds on to what we were talking about today. I've recorded this. It's a very brand new lesson filmed in 2025 on the actual funnel content. And again, this is my paid program. People pay top dollar to get access to this. I will give you access to this lesson specifically right here. This full choke on my words here. This specific lesson I will give to everyone here. All you need to do, because you watch to the end, like I said, my goal here is to actually give you tangible, genuine value. And again, as you can see, this is literally my program. You can see here, creating an irresistible offer, doing your income producing activities, finding your buyers, messaging, creating content that attracts buyers, closing. All of this is built into this course. Now, I'm going to give you all this lesson right here. If all you need to do now is just simply message me at the end of this call, say, hey, I stuck around to the end of this webinar, to this training. Can you send me the training that you promised, the lesson from your paid course? I'll send it away today, right? You'll get it in your hands today, and it's going to give you a ton of support, value, all of that kind of stuff. So that's first thing, right? I'm going to take care of all of this. Okay, next thing here is, because you stuck around, yes, I know a lot of you are asking about the recording of this this call. You'll also get that too. That I'll probably take a couple, days to make sure we have it all set up correctly. So, but we'll definitely make a post on LinkedIn giving that, so you'll have access to both the lesson from the paid course and you'll have access to the recording of this call. Now, again, final thing here is I want to reward everyone here who's actually stuck around to the end. And like I said, right, You've seen how the algorithm works. You've seen what's possible when you build the right system around it. And you know what happens when you actually can stop guessing, right? Because I've been in both spots, right? I've been in that position where if you don't have, you're just doing a bunch of random activities, the business doesn't work, right? It's stressful. It actually makes you want to pull your hair out because things aren't working and you're putting in so much effort. And I've also been on the other side where when you have a system so dialed in, you can create your content, get on the phone with people who are actually interested in working with you, them actually purchasing your services, paying you $3, $4, $5,000 at a time, actually converting them, working with the next client, building a 6, 7 figure business. Like all of this is absolutely possible, right? So for that reason, what I'm going to be doing at the end of this call is I'm actually going to be giving a free one-on-one strategy session call with me. Now, what this call is going to be is it's going to be a call with you and I together. And on this call, I am going to personally sit down with you, evaluate your business, figure out where you are right now, where you want to go. So if you're telling me right now you're at $0, and that's fine if you are, and you want to get to a 20K per month level, I'm going to sit down with you on this call and literally map out an exact game plan of what needs to be done over the next 90 days for you to generate this level of cash. So if come April 1st is the day you start, great. Then 90 days from then, I want to set a goal and say, I want you to collect 50K cash by the end of this next 90 days. We'll create an entire game plan of exactly what needs to be done, right? On this call. Now, I want to say this, that this call, if you're just coming to grab ideas and dabble, don't book the call. I'm just being honest. Like, I just want this call to actually be really valuable for someone who is legitimately just ready to commit to your business. Because I'll be honest, doing this stuff kind of, wishy-washy, like not fully committed, it's going to hurt you, right? It's just, I wouldn't be able to help you that way, right? But if you're actually fully committed, I'm happy to give you my time. I'm happy to sit down with you on what's going to happen. So on the call, we'll audit everything. We'll look at your content, your positioning, your profile, everything ultimately to get you to that 10 to 30K per month level. Now, with that being said, right? Yes, right now I am opening up enrollment for my coaching program. Right now, my coaching program entails a lot of one-on-one coaching, group coaching, online course access, a lot of support. Now, I'm pretty picky with who I work with. I've declined many clients. Over the last 2 weeks, I actually declined someone who tried to enroll in my program. They literally had the cash in hand, credit card in hand. They said they were a dating coach, and they said, "Hey, can I come into your program? I'm ready to go." And I said, "No." I'm like, "Sorry, I just can't help you right now. It just was ethical reasons." But for that reason, like I said, I'm opening up my program right now. Now, I'm only going to be taking on 5 new clients over the next little while. Now, for the people that attended this webinar, obviously for me, it shows me that you're actually interested, you're actually committed, you're actually ready to make a move into your business. So here's what I'm going to do. Without going into the details of the program, for anyone who attends this webinar today, I am going to give you my Black Friday offer. Now, this is an offer I only released on Black Friday, literally only released on Black Friday, and I'm going to give it to you. Now, what this includes is an extra month of coaching with me, extra one-on-one support, extra coaching calls, a literal embodiment of the highest level of one-on-one support with me that I'm going to be giving to everyone who signs up. Now, there's no obligation whatsoever, but if you do book this call with me, I want you to book this call with the intention of actually committing, right? Again, no obligation. You don't have to and say like, "Oh yeah, like whatever, that's fine." But I want you to book this call because what we'll do on this call together is we'll create the entire game plan for the next 90 days with you. We'll learn about it. And then if it's the right fit for both of us, you'll get into this program. We'll work together. We'll get your business to where you want to go. So with that being said, Juanita, my business partner, she's going to pop in the link into the chat so you guys can book that call with me. And then now I will open it up for questions. I know there's a lot of questions and not so much time, so I'll try and go through it, as quickly as possible. But I'll just leave you off with this. I'd say, look, you've probably spent enough time right now trying to figure this out alone, right? You're probably already doing the work. You just need the right direction, feedback, and structure. Like you don't need more content. You don't need more hustle. You don't need more, all of this. You just need a system. You need someone to guide you, keep you accountable, and get you the results you need. I want you to genuinely think about where you could be in the next 30, 40, 50 days, right? Like genuinely think about it. Imagine a business where you're making 20 grand per month, 40 grand per month, right? It's not impossible. People are doing it people a lot less smart than you are doing it every single day just because they're following a system. They're being held accountable. And this is what I want for you too. So like I said, I'm only taking 5 more clients. You'll never get this level of one-on-one support from me ever again. So if you ever thought about working with me, doing it in a structured way, now is the time. So with that being said, I'm going to open it up for questions. Awesome. So let's go right into this. Let's scroll up to the top here. Okay. So if I don't answer any of your questions or I'm missing some, you can just pop them back into the chat and then we'll be good. So Carolyn says, has LinkedIn adjusted the algorithms to try and push us to buy LinkedIn ads? Should we consider buying LinkedIn ads? No. Look, naturally, yes, there's always going to be a push because it's a money maker for them. But no, you don't need to buy ads, and especially not at the beginning. I wouldn't even think about ads until you're at like 30K per month consistently, right? Then you could start looking into ads. There's more than enough in organic for you to get great results. So you'll be all good to go on that side. All right. Okay, let's keep going. I'm just going to barrel through these questions just so we have them all. Next one here. Question one, I get the phases, but how do you plan your content strategic as such, given different buyers will be at different phases? I mean, if you post one content this week aimed at phase one for a new buyer and another one. Okay, good question. Look, you're right. Your buyers are going to be in different phases, but you just need to have your messaging dialed in for the subsect of people that you're helping. So for example, I typically work with coaches that are stuck under that 10K per month mark and want to get to that 30, 40K per month mark. So if they're in different phases, then talk about the end result more, right? If you see a lot of what I talk about, sure, I mentioned the pain points. I'm not saying not to mention them, but I also talk about the future because the future is the one thing that they all have in common. So that's what I would talk more about in your content. What's that ideal situation that they're actually looking for? Next question. I've heard a lot about reacting to comments on your posts. Is there a truth? Look, it's a good, look, here's the thing. Reacting to comments, all this stuff, these are tactics, right? Will it help? Yes. But what's more important is the overall strategy, right? I could try all these nifty tactics here and there, but what matters most is the actual strategy that you're implementing, right? So I really want you to like cover that and then we can tighten the screws, right? Like it's like get the engine running and then we can put on new rims on the car, get bigger tires and all that kind of stuff. But let's get the engine moving first. That's what I want you to pay attention to, especially if you're at the beginning. I'd be curious to understand how effective a written post with a solid content works versus with an image. Okay. I would always recommend popping an image into your written post. It just adds more depth to the post itself. But again, don't do these edited posts with like text on them. Like the idea is that you're not advertising, you're almost creating like a public journal, right? So don't make it seem like you're advertising. I don't sell through my content. People don't know my price point. People don't know too much about my program. I'm trying to get them sold on me. And how do I do that? By very organic content. All right, let me scroll down. Guys, remember to book that call. Like I'm telling you, this is like, I don't think I'll ever offer a one-on-one call with me like this again, where I'm going to be able to support you and help you at this level. So really take advantage of that. Juanita, if you want to pop that in again, go ahead. Joe, you said you mentioned building trust with people and not education in your post. What when you post about your travels, does that throw off the algorithm? No, not really. That's a good question too. No, it doesn't throw off the algorithm because I post about my travels, but then I'll tie it to how I'm running my coaching business too, right? I'll consistently, if you look at my travel posts, the one when I was in Madrid, I talk about how it affected my productivity levels, how I got more efficient, how my clients got better results, all of this stuff. So tell your story and then weave it into who you are and what you do, right? It's not like I'm just saying random things. Sometimes I will, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, it's not like every single post needs to be precise, but like 80% of them should be dialed into that level. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. Let's keep going.
So,
Yeah,
Serene,
yeah.
question on that. Can you give an example for your clients how you would recommend that for them? Let's say a career coach client or a business coach client. How would they weave that trust building, personal story stuff, traveling with what they do?
Yeah, like personal story, you tie it towards, okay, it's a good question. So, like I was saying before, let's say you're a career coach, right? Let's say you are a career coach and I don't know, you hypothetically hear a story about who knows, just thinking something off the top of my head here. Like you see a kid applying for his first job, right? You see somebody going to like I don't know, McDonald's with their resume, right? Let's just say you casually see this interaction. Create a piece of content on that and be like, okay, I saw this 16-year-old person applying for his first job. Great. If I could give him some advice as to what I would recommend he do, this is what I would do. This is what I would have said to him. Or if I was applying for my first job at McDonald's and 16 years old, here's how I would have made sure. I would have called the manager, talked this, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm taking a story and then implementing a lesson to it. So you want to always have a purpose to your content. Tell a story, but what's the purpose of the story, right? That's the real second part of the equation is what is the actual purpose behind your story that's actually going to get people interested in wanting to work with you. Does Does that make sense? All right, let's keep going. I'm a leadership coach for new managers for someone under 1,000 followers that started positioning on LinkedIn. What kind of content should I post related to don't educate yet if they don't know you? Talk about your experiences in leadership positions. You know, what were some things you went through? What were some kind of fires you put out when you were working in corporate, when you were doing all of this kind of stuff, right? Like, I'm sure you have a plethora of all these stories and things that you could share. I would definitely bring all of these examples. Like, most of you are way more interesting than you think, right? You have to understand your niche is just an older version of you, right? The people you're trying to help right now are the people who are in the position you might have been in 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, right? So just talk about all those stories you went through. People will just connect with those stories. Like, I remember I got a recent lady who enrolled into my program, and I talked about how the first coach I enrolled in, I was like trembling because I was like, wow, I'm about to pay this guy $15,000 to coach me. And I was like, I don't know, but I'd never worked with a coach before, but I knew I had to do it, especially if I was coaching. This lady got on the call with me and she said, the reason I'm working with you is because of this LinkedIn post you posted. You said, like, she said, I've never had a coach before. And I thought it's kind of weird that I don't have a coach yet. I'm coaching other people. So it made me realize you were the person I needed to work with. That story really resonated with me. Let's work together. Right? That, like, you see what I'm saying? Like, that's, you got to have these like aha moments for people where they look at it and they're like, wow, this makes sense. Right? So that's the idea behind it. So Juanita, if you want to pop in the link again, we'll be all good to go. Yeah, Carolyn, I just answered your question earlier, but long story short, don't worry about LinkedIn ads unless you're at 30K per month or above, right? I would just go 100% organic and you'll be all good to go. When does the program start? So the program's ongoing enrollment. However, we are limiting it to 5 people. So this special offer that we're releasing with the added one-on-one support right now is only going to be available until we lock in 5 people, right? So we've put out, this is the first time we're putting out the offer. We're going to put out the offer as well to our lists. So I'm probably assuming this will fill up tomorrow afternoon. We'll probably have all 5 people in there. So yeah, that definitely book the call if you want to learn more about that, what it would be like. So I appreciate you all being here. Caleb, how do you avoid procrastination? My friend, the gym and coffee will get you real going. That's I mean, short answer, but you'll be all right. In terms of frequency of posting, is it best to slap up 2 to 3 posts per day, or is it best to post one long? Good question, actually. I would say 2 to 3 posts. Shorter dopamine hits are better because you can use the webinars, the trainings, and all that for your longer post content. So you can definitely slap out 1 or 2 smaller posts and then go with the small, the longer posts, like the, lead magnets and all of that stuff after. You'll be good to go. Can you give a brief example of the strategy can be implemented in a wellness program for high performing men? Yeah, for example, for high performing men, you're saying, can you give a brief example of same thing? Create a training on how high performing men can, save 20 hours in a week, right? Create that training, create a bunch of content, get as many people as you can attending that training, watching that training, and then start making offers for calls. Can we do the same on Facebook? I can't speak for Facebook. I haven't been using it as a lead generation source for a while, but I mean, human nature doesn't change. That's what I would say. Okay, senior, perfect. Should we go Insta or YouTube? Just stick with LinkedIn. And you'll be all good to go. When you say talk about it, then aren't you you're educating, but in an entertaining way, right? You're not just saying, here are 5 things. Remember this. Remember this always. People hate to be told what to do, but they love to hear about how you did it. So if you're going to educate that way, right? Don't say, here's 5 ways you can get a job. You could say, here's how I got my last job. Here's how I did that. People will love to hear about how you got the result. They just don't want you to tell them what to do, right? That's the key thing to remember, the difference between it. I missed the meeting. Will there be a recording? Yes, there will be a recording. Don't worry. All right. I'm going to answer one more question. Then I got to jump off my group. So my clients are waiting for me. Do you build out your course in Kajabi, Circle, Go High Level? Do you teach all that? Yes, I teach all of that in my program, my coaching program. Look, I'll just leave it off with this. To answer your question, I do it on ClickFunnels, but in my coaching program, it's not just me teaching you how to get clients. It's me teaching you how to actually build a business that supports your lifestyle. If I work with you, I'm going to be your best friend. I'm going to teach you, I'm going to sit down with you, help you create your content with you. I'm going to help you with every little detail because I want you to actually not just get clients. I want you to actually have a fantastic life. I want you to actually go. Maybe you want to travel like I do. Maybe you want to go and spend more time with your family. Like, you tell me the life you want to live, and then I'm going to help you build the business around that. And I'm going to support you every step of the way through, right? That's the real purpose of my program. It's not just a get clients thing, right? I really want to help you from the deepest level and support you and basically just be your mentor and best friend for the next while until you get to that level. So that's the idea. Right. Oh, Roxanne, you're the best. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, she just enrolled in the program. So I've really enjoying working with Roxanne so far. Are you able to give details? Yeah, look, if you want more details of the program, like I said, book the call with me. We can talk about that. And as well, I can DM you. Right now, just we're 5 minutes over. I got to jump onto my group coaching call. But I just wanted to let that. I'll put the Juanita, if you want to put the link one last time, go right ahead. And then yeah, like I said, we'll definitely have a chat about that. But like I said, just take this, guys, as your opportunity. You'll never get this level of one-on-one support with me again. This is the opportunity to really take it. And like I said, you have a fresh start. April 1st, hit the ground running, and we can do this together, build a system around it, and have a very, very successful business. So I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll see you all soon. And yeah, let's slap up some posts. Let's make it good and let's have a great time. All right. Take care, everybody. See you later. Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you. Bye bye.